If your biggest problem is lack of self-belief, that's very easy to fix.
I regret that I didn't have children or adopt a child that I wanted to. I let him down in the past and now he doesn't believe in me. I feel like I don't know what I want to do with my life anymore.
You're here to find your gift, perfect your gift, and then indeed monetize your gift. Everybody in the world wants to have an impact. We don't fear dying. We fear dying having not made an impact.
Had a lot of emotion.
What feels dangerous, darling, about putting yourself out there?
Well, actually, a couple of other things are coming up since you've talked with the other people. Had a lot of emotion.
That's okay. You know, I'm a great believer that where tears flow, energy goes and healing begins. So don't try to stop that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's rough is that I feel like I don't know what I want to do with my life anymore. It feels like the universe is nudging me in a direction or a couple, but I'm not sure that it feels fun to me. And so I'm not sure whether to pursue it or not.
Can I ask you what your dream, when you were younger, what were those dreams?
I wanted to sing. And I never was offered the chance to take singing lessons or anything. I used to sing all the time. My stepmother once drowned me out with the car radio.
Deliberately. That's very mean. Very mean.
Yeah.
How old were you then?
I'm not sure what I'm going to say, like about 8. And as an adult, I took singing lessons, but it was really hard for me to keep going with it. I would either have teachers that left or, I don't know, I would sabotage it a lot. And
I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to ask everyone who's on this call if they'd like to answer them too. So I'm going to ask you 5 or 6 questions, just to answer them as fast as you can. So the first question, if you won the lottery tomorrow and never had to work, had so much money you were just set for life, what would be the first and second thing you would do if you suddenly were a multi-millionaire and you had so much money you never had to work again ever? What would you do?
If I wasn't afraid to get on a plane, probably travel.
Everyone says travel. What's the second thing you do? And you traveled now. I get bored with the traveling now. Now you've had lots of traveling. What's the second thing you would do?
I'm kind of blank, but something with art comes up.
Well, you're a creative person, so you'd probably use your money to do something with art for you. Is that right?
I think so.
Do you mean like you might open a studio, or would you be teaching art to other people? Something with art.
No, I don't feel qualified to teach art, although I have felt like a teacher in other areas.
But you'd use your money somehow to do something to do with art. Is that right? Okay, here's a different question. I want you to imagine, it's not a nice thought, we've only got 4 years to live. You're not in any pain, but you've got one of those things where you're only going to be around for 4 years. But in those 4 years of having no pain, apart from traveling, how would you spend those 4 years? What would be the thing you'd immediately want to do?
I've had this fleeting idea of having running retreats for people in different places, beautiful places in the world. I don't know if I would be the one doing the teaching or experiences, although I know I could do some of them. I'm very interested in metaphysics personally and pretty intuitive with a lot of things and love falling on the angels and things like that. And I've learned a lot of healing techniques, not yours. Sorry. So I feel like there's a need for people to dream again and have fun again. I know I need that.
Here's another question. Maybe something to do with the retreat. So you want to spend your last 4 years creating some kind of retreat. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. What's the one thing you've always wanted to do, but the only thing that's held you back is a habit?
I don't know whether it's habit, but one of the things that comes up is I regret that I didn't have children or adopt the child that I wanted to.
Okay.
But I don't really want that anymore because I'm older now and I don't want to deal with a child.
What's the one thing that you do that makes you feel really good? What's something you do that makes your heart sing? What's something you do that when you're doing it, you feel really good about yourself?
I feel like it's all covered over in pain. I can tell you what I used to do. There are things that I enjoy. I don't know that they make my heart sing. Like I enjoy gardening.
Well,
I've
give me
enjoyed
an example of
baking.
something you do when you're doing it. You feel like, I could say when I'm in the gym, I feel really good. When I'm speaking on stage, I feel really good. I know I'm meant to do that because my energy is at my highest then. What's something when you're doing, you feel really good just while you're doing it?
Sometimes when I'm just connecting with people and helping them spiritually, metaphysically.
So let's go back to you. If you had all the money in the world, you'd do something with art. If you only had a few years to live, you'd want to have some kind of retreat. You may have regretted having a child in your life and being in a child's life, but you don't want to have a baby now. And connecting with people. You also said that singing makes your heart sing. A lot of these things you could do, art. You're doing art, aren't you? You're doing your wearable art. And even if you're just doing art as a hobby, if art is what makes you feel good, you should always do that. Maybe your vision is to work in a retreat. I don't really know, but you said you feel a bit lost. And when you feel lost, you have to always sit down and go, okay, what are my gifts? There's no point ever in doing something you hate. Pay the highest price when you have a job that you hate. So you're thinking of your life, where am I going? Everybody in the world wants to have an impact. We don't fear dying. We fear dying having not made an impact. So someone like Frank Sinatra will never really die because his music is going on. Someone who writes a book will never really die. Charles Dickens is still alive every time you turn the pages. So it seems like your art is your love and your joy, art and singing, but somehow retreats, that is according to you.
I think almost it's important to me to support the arts, but doing art is just enjoyable. It doesn't make my heart sing. But
why are you making wearable art if it doesn't make your heart sing? Why are you even doing that if you don't like it?
It was one of those things whereby I just kept trying all the things that I used to love and trying different variations to see. I enjoy it, but it's like
I don't think it's your thing. It's too much work, In life, you want to have a job that you love so much you do it for nothing. When you do what you love and you love what you do, it never feels like you work a day in your life. And I don't think wearable art, I think that's probably a hobby.
Yeah.
So you have to look at your life and think, okay, for instance, I have children. I sponsored an orphanage in Zimbabwe called Ethandweni Orphanage, and I've been out there to meet them. And it's such a joy that you can still be in it. I never had a son. I'd love to have had a son, but I've got 3 little boys, they're actually much old now, that I sponsor. And luckily my daughter's just married an amazing guy, so now I finally have a wonderful son. But there's always a way to have a child. You could be a mentor for a child. You could be an advocate. When I lived in LA, they were desperate people to go in the court system and just advocate for an older child. You could be a mentor. You can sponsor a child in an orphanage. There's so many things that you can do. But you have to really sit down and think, okay, what makes me feel good? And how can I put that into a hobby? Maybe never going to be, you might say I love acting, but I'm never going to be a brilliant actor, but I could still do that as a hobby. But what would you like to do with your life? And you need to find a way to have that. And there are many ways of having a child in your life and being in a child's life, many ways of working in a retreat, if that's what you want to do, or going to retreats. But you're a creative person. And when a creative person doesn't create, composers like Rubens didn't compose in their 90s and the money, they did it because it's who they were. It was in their psyche. They had to go on performing. The Stones do not perform at 80 years old because they need the money. They do it because it's who they are. Dancers have to dance, singers have to sing, painters have to paint, writers have to write. So you're a creative person. What can you do with your life?
Yeah, I do love talking with people. So like the idea of a podcast sounds interesting. I do love writing on the topics that interest me. And I know that, many, many years ago when I was still thinking about being a singer, somebody said, how about being a songwriter? And I just kind of brushed it away because I didn't feel like I had the talent or
Have you ever thought of doing art therapy? Have you ever considered that?
I used to think about doing music therapy. I hadn't thought about doing art therapy. I don't feel qualified.
I don't mean doing it as a profession. I mean doing it for yourself. Just doing it for you.
Oh, no.
I think you'd like that a lot. I think it would be very good for you to express yourself. You've got a lot of things you're thinking of, the cooking, the gluten-free and the vegan. It's all creative. You need to just sit down and really go through those questions a lot. If I won the lottery, what would I do apart from travel? If I had 4 years to live, what would I do apart from travel? Because everyone says travel. What have I always regretted? What have I always regretted? What have I held back from? What have I always wanted to do but held back from? What is my greatest regret? And what things give me my greatest pleasure? And you may need to spend some time, not on camera with me, writing out those answers, because in those answers you'll understand what you're meant to do, what your gift is. And we're all given a gift, and you're here to find your gift, perfect your gift, and then indeed monetize your gift. You know, Catherine Cookson wrote bestsellers at 82. So it certainly isn't too late. And some people often retire from a day job, such as Frank McCourt, who wrote Angela's Ashes. He taught English. He retired at 65, wrote a bestseller. And then his brother also wrote a bestseller because he just saw, well, if Frank can do it, I can do it. And so there are many people who don't find their gift until they've retired or their kids have left home. But maybe it's your time to look at your gift and think, okay, what is it? And what am I going to do about it?
I feel like I have been asking these questions for years. I like around and around, and I feel like the universe has really been pushing me in the gluten-free and almost vegan cooking direction, in that every time I bring it up, somebody says, oh, I'd be interested in that.
You just have a fear of change. You're just allowing yourself to stay stuck. Because if you're not choosing to change, you must be choosing to stay the same. And staying the same isn't good for anyone. You know, you need to change. You need variety. You need some excitement, some harvest in your life. So when we want to change, we're not changing. There's only one reason: that I'm scared. Scared of changing in case I'm worse off, scared of changing in case it doesn't work, scared of taking a leap in case it doesn't work. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You've learned something. Everything you try and fail will take you to where you're going to be. We all know about the guy who spent, is it Colonel Saunders, 88 recipes before he got his Kentucky Fried Chicken. We know people who tried many times before they finally got something right. Most people have a fear of change. So close your eyes and say, I'm scared of change because, and just finish that sentence as fast as you can. I'm scared of change because, just say it, don't think about it.
I could end up lonely. I could end up all alone.
I resist change because
I could be rejected.
And if I was rejected, finish that sentence. I would feel
I'd be all alone.
Okay, so open your eyes. So are you all alone now, or are you with somebody?
I'm married.
Okay. So how would you be all alone? If you're married, how could you be all alone by following a goal? How could that be because you're all alone?
I'm afraid he wouldn't come with me, that my dreams or whatever would create change that would be too big, too much change for him.
Have you had that conversation with him?
No, and he's dreaming about travel too.
Okay,
but
so you see,
I see him dream. I see me dream and take action. I see him dream and stay dreaming.
But you're not even sharing your dreams with him. So how are you taking action?
Oh, I am taking action. I'm on my website for the gluten-free almost vegan. It's almost ready to launch.
But when you said he won't come with you, where are you going? Where are you going? Let's say you've got your gluten-free cookbook and you're almost vegan and it's a success. Where are you going where he's not coming with you?
I would love to go to Europe, and I see him very loyal to his 9-to-5 job.
Well, you can go and come back. You don't have children. I mean, that's fine. You can go to Europe for a week and come back. Where do you live?
Outside of Philadelphia.
So you can go and come back. It's not that far. But you said he's thinking of traveling now. Maybe he'll come with you. But even if he doesn't, you know, 2 weeks in Europe is not going to end your marriage, is it?
No, but I want to go for months. I really, really love Europe.
Well, then go for months. He can come out and visit you. He can come for a week, but maybe you haven't asked him. He might say, oh, I'd love any chance to go to Europe for 2 months. Interesting that you haven't asked him. Seek and you shall find. Ask and you'll get. You need to ask him. You need to sit down. You see, all these things that are holding you back are in your head, all the fears. You could be lonely. You could be rejected. You could be having the time of your life with people who love your books and go to book signings. You'll never know until you try. And if you're not choosing to change, then sadly you're choosing to stay the same. So you've got to take a leap of faith and say to your husband, hey, I've got this book and I've got this vision. Notice you're talking about Europe. I want to go to Europe. Let's combine and go to Europe. I'm going to go with my book and you want to go, so let's go.
I think part of it is I feel like he says, oh, I would love, like he has said he would love for me to be the one bringing in the income and he can let go of his job and just write when he wants or whatever. But on the other hand, he also seems like he doesn't believe in me. And
but then you don't really believe in you either. So you're not helping him believe in you because you've got a lot of suppositions. He says he wants you to change, but you feel that that's not true. So he's saying something, but you're feeling something else. I wonder what you're basing that on. He says he wants you to be the breadwinner and he'd love you to go to Europe, but you feel it's not true. Where does that feeling come from?
I think that I've let him down in the past and now he doesn't believe in me.
Well, that's hard.
I've said this will bring in money. I can do this. And then I've gone and done the thing and it doesn't bring in money.
I don't think he doesn't believe in you. I think you don't believe in you. I don't think he doesn't believe in you. I could be wrong. But I get, a lot of people say this is going to work and it doesn't. And their partner doesn't go, you lied. They go, well, that's a shame. Didn't work. We thought it would work. I don't think you believe in you. But the great thing is, if your biggest problem is lack of self-belief, that's very easy to fix. You just start saying, I believe in myself, I believe in myself, I believe in myself. I have a gift, I have a talent. And if you say it, state it, and embody it, if you believed in yourself so much, it wouldn't even matter if he didn't believe in you. If he believed in you and you didn't, that would be awful. If you believed in you and he didn't, it would be a lot less awful because you'd have phenomenal self-belief. Close your eyes now. And just say, I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
I like myself.
I like myself.
I've got great gifts and talents.
I've got great gifts and talents.
And the universe that gave me those gifts.
And the universe that gave me those gifts.
Will support me 1,000,000% as I pursue them.
For sure. Will support me 1,000,000% as I pursue them.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
My job is to raise my self-worth.
My job is to raise my self-worth.
My self-esteem.
My self-esteem.
And my self-image.
My self-image.
And my self-value.
And my self-value.
It's no one else's job but mine.
It's no one else's job but mine.
And I'm doing a phenomenal job.
And I'm doing a phenomenal job.
I'm doing a perfect job.
I'm doing a perfect job.
An outstanding job.
An outstanding job.
Of raising my self-worth.
Of raising my self-worth.
And self-esteem.
And self-esteem.
How does it feel as you say that?
It feels good to say those. What comes up is a brother-in-law who really seemed to be...
Who did? Your brother-in-law?
A brother-in-law who really shamed me for losing money or misspending money.
It's not your husband's job to give you high self-esteem. It's not your job to give him high self-esteem. And yes, you might have lost some money. Some of the most successful people in the world lost everything, went bankrupt, lost everything. But it happens. Sometimes we have to take a risk. The only risk in life is not to take the risk. And some people take a risk and they publish a book, it doesn't work. They open a restaurant, it doesn't work. Many people put everything they have into a business, it doesn't work. But at least they can see, I tried. I tried and it didn't work. That's not as bad as saying, I never tried. I had a great idea. It's still in a drawer because I was too scared of it failing. So, you did something. It didn't work out. Your brother-in-law has no right to shame you because you took a risk. You took a leap of faith, and that's a brave thing to do. One of my friends always wanted a restaurant, opened it, didn't work, shut it down. And said, I realized later I was never meant to have a restaurant. It was always my dream. I even called it the name of my only daughter, but I was in there 7 days a week, 8 in the morning, taking stock, and then lunch and dinner, and then cleaning up at midnight. So I began to hate it. And when it went bust, it was almost like I was ashamed, but I was also so relieved because it just wasn't for me. The only way you fail is, you do things that, that wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. So your brother had no right to shame you. And, sounds like not a very nice person to shame you, because critical people criticize and superior people praise. So he's a critic. What a shame. Is he very successful?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Retired now and traveling all around with his wife.
Well, who knows what that was all about, but it wasn't about you because you tried something. Anyway, don't give him the power to hurt you. He's just a critical person, but don't let him hurt you. You have to live your life. And so live your life now by thinking about what you need and then take action.
Okay.
And keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
Check out my next video here.